Hey everyone, we're back and today we're switching things up a little bit. Yep, we're doing a video on the Amiibo features that are in Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. And most importantly, is it worth spending $50 or more to get one of the figures the game requires to unlock the Amiibo features? Let's find out. So first off, let's talk about the Amiibo support the game actually has, because it does exist even if it's not the most exciting feature. So here's what it does. You just grab one of your Amiibos, scan it, and Mr. E rewards you a random number of tokens, anywhere from 10 to 200 per scan. But of course, there is a catch. Yep, there's only 3 types of Amiibos that the game supports to give you that random reward. Yep, Mr. E is quite stubborn and will only award the fortune if you have a Yoshi, Pup, or Bowser Jr. Amiibo. So what happens if you scan one of the other hundreds of types of different Amiibos that you have in your collection? Unfortunately, not much. Mr. E will just award you 10 tokens, which isn't even enough to purchase one hint in the game. Yep, that is just one of many issues that we have with the Amiibo integration in this game, but more on that in a minute. First, let's take a look at the limited list of Amiibos that do work with this game. Let's start with the Yoshi lineup. So any Yarn Yoshi will work, the Smash Brothers Yoshi, the Super Mario series Yoshi, and even the Yoshi power-up band from Universal Studios. All of those will work. And as far as Pup goes, well, there has been precisely one ever released by Nintendo. Yep, the Pup from back in the Woolly World series. So if you actually have one, congratulations, because finding a new one will run you a couple of $100. And then finally, the third option, Bowser Jr., who also happens to have had exactly one Amiibo figure ever made. Yep, this one from way back in 2015, part of the Super Smash Brothers collection. So again, congratulations if you already have one. But if you do want to pick this one up, you can find it at a lot more reasonable price than the Pup. Yep, we've seen them online anywhere from $25 to $50 new. And finally, one other disappointing fact to mention is that if you have a Yoshi or Bowser Jr. card from the Mario Sports Superstar Amiibo cards collection, they do not work with the game. So yeah, the list of supported Amiibos is surprisingly tiny for no real reason. Pup is on the list here, but he doesn't even appear in this game, and meanwhile characters like Mario, who have shown up in plenty of past Yoshi titles, aren't supported. Yeah, the whole list is just baffling, like not really sure why it's so limited, and the feature itself, to be honest, kind of feels a little bit like an afterthought. So let's dive back into the feature and talk a little bit more about it. So as we mentioned, anytime that you scan a supported figure, you get a random reward. It's fine and it's handy when you need a hint or you want to unlock a discovery, but here's the catch. You can only scan the same Amiibo once per day, and when you get 10 tokens out of that daily scan, yep, that's pretty disappointing. Seems unnecessary. Especially when we already have more consistent ways to get tokens in the game, like if you go into the Neppy Nut section in the Snurfboard habitat. Yep, you can just jump in there and easily get hundreds of tokens in a matter of minutes. Yep, this method is fast, it's reliable, and you can do it as many times as you want per day. So having that method available in the game to get tokens makes the Amiibo feature feel pretty much irrelevant. So that brings us to what could have been done differently instead, to offer something unique and fun, something that doesn't add complexity to the game or give an unfair advantage to players who don't own the required Amiibos. We just have to look at other games in the past with Amiibo support that have done things that are unique, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with its Mii racing suits, Animal Crossing, or how about the Amiibo support in Donkey Kong Bonanza, where you get those 4 golden Kong tiles that come in very handy on a lot of the levels in that game. So yeah, it really feels like a missed opportunity, especially when you look at how many different creatures are in this game. They could have easily tied Amiibo scans to fun cosmetic features for those creatures. And it really is unfortunate because Nintendo has done this plenty of times in the past in those other games, and it would have been perfect in Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. So after looking at everything that the Amiibo features do in this game, yep, the verdict is pretty clear. Yep, it's just not worth buying any of the specific figures just for this game. Nope, the token payout is inconsistent. You can only scan the same figure once per day, and the game already gives you a much faster and more reliable way to earn tokens without needing any of the Amiibos at all. But there are some silver linings here for purists of games like this. The Amiibo feature doesn't significantly change any aspect of the game, it doesn't give you a major advantage, it doesn't lock away any meaningful content, and you're really not missing out on anything essential if you don't have one of the required figures. So yep, you can play the entire game, enjoy everything it has to offer, and never feel like you're at a disadvantage. And let's keep in mind, Nintendo almost always handles Amiibos this way with their games. But there are some exceptions. Yep, they are few and far between, but if you look at the Cat Mario Amiibo in Super Mario 3D World, it basically gives you a golden cat suit that makes you invincible. Yep, that one does definitely cross the line of pay to win because that one is definitely a game changer. But fortunately, again, it's an exception, not the norm. So to wrap this up, yep, the Amiibo feature in this game, it's fine. It's harmless, it's optional, it doesn't change the experience in any meaningful way. It's definitely not worth buying those specific figures for, like we mentioned. But the good news is that you're not missing anything if you don't have one of them. And while many games in the past do have Amiibo support where we would recommend picking up the specific Amiibo for it, this one is not one of them. Nope, this is just a tiny little daily bonus that you'll probably forget about. But that's just our take, so we do want to hear from you. What do you think about this Amiibo feature? Do you find it helpful? Do you find it pointless? Or do you think it's just kind of there and you don't really even think about it? And what kind of Amiibo ideas would you have liked to see in the game? Let us know in the comments. We're really curious what you think.